Hello, everyone, and thank you for checking into the Pit Stop. This is our recap for Amazing Race Season 36, Episode 3. It's not over till Phil sings. I'm James, and with me is the lovely...
Hello, Cayla.
Hey, Cayla. I told you I was going to update that intro.
I'm literally like teary-eyed. I loved it so much.
I'm so glad you approve. I was literally going through all the clips from Challenge USA. I'm like, there's so many good ones of us. But honestly, there should have been more. My time was cut too short.
I know. Don't get me started. Literally crying thinking about it.
I know. Well, I'm so excited to talk about this episode because we actually haven't shared our thoughts yet. So I'm dying to know what you think. But tonight is a party. It's quite the lineup. I'm so excited because we have one of my favorite teams from my season of the race. The most beloved season in Amazing Race history, honestly. They stole America's hearts, let's be real. But none other than the infamous Blonde Bandits, Haley and Kaylynn.
I know that made me want to cry seeing y'all's challenge everything. That's so cute.
Oh, hi guys. I miss you both so much.
Yay.
Miss you so much.
We miss y'all so much.
You are such fun hosts. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. We have our wine. We are ready to roll.
We have our
cheers, y'all. Yeah.
Literally, I feel like it's a Friday night. I just wish we were all together.
I know. It's been wild. I can't wait.
Well, Audrey in the live chat says they stole my heart too.
Thanks, Audrey.
Thank you, Audrey.
Miss it. Feels like it was forever ago.
I know. It's fun watching everybody else do it.
I know.
Well, I would love to know just like a quick update. I mean, I'm sure the fans of Amazing Race want to know what's new in Haley and Kaylynn's world. And I miss you. I feel like we had so many great opportunities to see each other last year. And now we just need to get something in the books for this year.
I know. We need a reunion ASAP. We miss you guys so much. We miss everyone. Update on us. We are still in Charleston, South Carolina, loving life. We're full-time real estate, so we're just so busy. We got a puppy. And we are her prisoners. She's running our life.
The inmate is fully running the prison.
She's not good at potty training, so we're learning a lot right now.
I didn't know anything about dogs until recently. I really knew nothing. I just went and got a puppy.
She brought her home. I was like, what is that?
What if killed you?
She was like, we don't need a dog, Haley. I was like, no, listen, we're just going to foster.
We're just helping her. 5 minutes in, she's like, we're adopting her. And I was like, I don't know. But no, I'm obsessed.
I could have told you how that was going to play out.
I was like, were you even going to ask me?
Yeah, she's like, you didn't even ask. I was like, but you love her, right?
But yeah, that's what's going on with us. Just real estate, Charleston, loving life, ready for summer, ready to be back on the Amazing Race. We need an adventure in our life.
I know, but we need a reunion. I feel
like we need a second chances, girls.
All stars. Let's do it, y'all.
I would be y'all's biggest cheerleaders.
I know. Would y'all align with us?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh my gosh.
We would
guys, you can't say the A word.
Oh yeah, you're right. We'll talk about this later.
We'd be besties. We'd be besties that like secretly nudge help each other.
Great. Hey, we've been training y'all. We're getting ready.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot wait to hear what y'all have to think about this episode. Let's dive right into it because I know Anthony and Bailey will be joining us shortly. Right at the top, we know that teams are going from Puerto Vallarta to Guatape and Colombia. And this is the first time that Amazing Race has ever visited this city. And as Phil said, it was quite colorful. I loved this intro, just get a little bit of a feel and a vibe for what Guatape has to offer. Haley and Kaylynn, were you guys triggered with Colombia being the leg?
So triggered. And then you add in the trucks. I'm like, oh my God.
All the colors, the trucks, it just was giving full clown school, trucks, Colombia.
The Willies.
The Willies. Full blown, the PTSD.
Oh yeah. Leon and Milana saved us.
Oh yeah. But this was a great episode.
Great episode, very triggering. And I just feel for them when they're in it. So like they said, I would not have the mental capacity.
And I feel like when you're sitting on your couch, you're like, oh my God, obviously do the cooking. That looks so easy.
Yep.
And then once you're in there, you're like, all these ingredients. So I understand Anthony. It's so hard.
And Cayla, did they just give you some wanderlust? Because I feel like we've been sharing some reels of Colombia on Instagram with each other. I think it's a sign.
Yeah, I'm literally like, it's like every week I'm sending you something new. I go, oh, Colombia again. Oh, Colombia. And I'm like, this is a sign.
Let's go. Mm-hmm.
Let's do a reunion in Colombia.
Colombia.
No,
Yes.
I'm dead serious.
We just met somebody a couple days ago from Bogota.
Yeah.
Monica.
Mm-hmm.
Love
Hey,
that.
we're gonna cook and give us some Rex, and hey,
Yeah.
meet you guys there.
Can't wait. I'm dead serious.
Well, this start of the leg was sure to be an exhausting one for these teams. They had to make their way to the top of El Peñón de Quitape, which is that staircase known as the Rock. There's a little over 700 steps, if I'm not mistaken, but beautiful 360-degree views of the area. I want to know, what did y'all think about starting a leg this brutal?
Winded. I would be so winded right off the rip. Like all of those stairs. I think about when we were in Colombia and we were running straight from the mine, straight up into the, what was that? Like when you had to find the emerald.
That was
It's kind of like a church, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
But I
yes.
remember that run just from running like that altitude, running from the mine
You
straight
can't
up that
breathe.
hill. I was dying.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, I didn't even take into consideration how crazy that altitude
Yeah.
would have been.
Yeah, that would mess
And
me
that's what
up.
people don't think about from their couch either. It's like, oh,
Elements.
it seems so simple.
You're
but
dealing with all the
yeah.
elements. Yeah.
Not to mention your jet lag, because they
Yeah.
probably just got there.
Well, they just came off of what? You're still racing. So they're
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah. I mean, that they did them dirty. Like that was strategically meant to like physically exhaust the teams, which in turn, which I don't think people realizes, causes like drama and like your mental fatigue. Like, so it's like, I feel bad for the boys, you know, where you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's just cooking. Well, it's like, you think like they started out the gate exhausting themselves physically, which like in turn kind of like mentally sucks it out of you to where like you literally can't even like tie your shoes without help.
100%.
It's so true. And that's the thing. We would get through some legs where I wouldn't even know my name. We would
She
be
could be
like,
like, let's go.
it's like Kaylee words where it's like, I don't have them.
Dude, and yeah, it wasn't like a little like incline. It was like
No.
straight up like that. And I was like,
You know, I did. Rob has a podcast earlier to recap this episode, and we kind of talked about what we would change about this leg. Because I'm not going to lie, overall, I didn't think it was that exciting of a leg. I think the teams made it exciting. I mean, thank God they're all so entertaining because they carried the episode. But I almost feel like the stairs should have been like maybe a pit stop at the end instead of at the beginning, because so many people were absolutely winded to the point where we didn't even get to see that one side of the detour because everyone was like, oh, it's physical. I don't want to do physical after just going up these stairs. So I almost wish the order of tasks would have just been revised a little bit. And I just feel like they could have done so much more with this beautiful, like iconic rock.
I agree, because you're right. Every team afterwards is like, we're not going to do physical after physical. And
That's
like, for me, I was like almost glad that the boys and the Double Dutch team chose to do the trucks, because in my mind, one, it's again, I don't think I heard it. And maybe it's just because I ran the race and I know, like, were there only so many cooking stations? So part of me was thinking, like, if everyone chooses to do the cooking, like, is that like allowed? Like, is there enough stations for everybody? But also, like, I don't know. It sucks because you want to see both things happen, like both tasks get done. So like, yeah, it kind of was like disappointing from like a viewing standpoint. I'm like, I wanted to see someone build the little willies.
No, you're so right on that, because it's like when we were in I thought the same thing. So when we were in Kazakhstan, you know, we had to do the Great Khan Spy because the other challenge was already taken from the sword. So I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, they needed to level it out because those trucks were so freaking hard, and it would have shown that it was more neck and neck instead of you could already tell where everybody was going by the cooking challenge.
It would be
So
like
100%.
And then I feel like the pit stop wouldn't have been as bunched up as it was, because now if it's that close with the teams, imagine them having to race for first place or racing to not be last by fighting tooth and nail to go up those steps. I just think it would have been more of an exciting finish.
100%. I totally agree. Because that's what you watch for. You want to see like the dramatic ending, like who's it gonna be?
Yeah.
And with that, you already knew.
Yeah, you already knew. It was like a predictable. I mean, I guess you couldn't have predicted the twins switching like as many times as they did. So like that at least wasn't predictable. You know,
Yeah, bro.
dude. Dude.
He's like,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Haley and Kaylynn, we didn't get to experience this on our season, but I'm curious, what do you feel, or how do you feel about the 15-minute interval departure times of these groups rather than in order of how they checked in?
I don't really think it's fair. I feel like when you finish at a certain, like when you finish at a place, you know, you have more time. And so that gives more incentive to finish before everybody else. So I feel like if it's a shorter time like that and it's more expected, then it's just not as fair. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, Cayla, you got to experience it. What are your opinions?
Mine is like very biased. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I wasn't really a fan. But even more so, the reason behind mine was we happened to do really well coming back after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So same like what you're saying, like I was motivated to finish early because I wanted that time. Like, you know, we finished our leg sometimes 2-3 hours ahead of other teams. And then for them to start 15 minutes behind us, it's like, we make one mistake, we're so far down. But then like I have to kind of stop and think about it from a viewer standpoint. I hate seeing the same team get first over and over and over again. I mean, great for that team. Like that's the goal, right? Like that's the goal, is to get first constantly the whole race. But from a viewing standpoint, then like the whole season's just predictable, and like it would be so hard to catch up. Like you'd have to make a dramatic mistake. So it's like, I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. Like, I like it because it helps make the episodes a little bit more unpredictable with like where teams are placing. But as like an actual racer, like, no, if I finish an hour ahead of a team, I deserve that hour head start in my head, you know?
Right. And honestly, as a racer that was kind of in the back of the pack, I would be like, hell yeah, let's do it. Yeah. I'm like, Cayla was gone like 10 hours ago. We are way behind. So as like a team, as a viewer, you're right. And as a team in the back of the pack, like, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. And like Team Walla Walla said it best. Like they need equalizers, right? Like it is needed. But yeah, it's, again, I can see it both ways. And even like, so my boyfriend Colton, when he saw, who was it? Was it Juan? When he like slid down the end and like cut off Ron and Leticia and stuff, he was like, I don't really get it. Like they didn't get first. They're obviously not going to get last. Like, what's the point? And I said, well, like like sometimes the first, second, and third team is released first, and then the fourth, fifth, and sixth team is released 15 minutes behind. Like, how annoyed would you be if you're literally a foot away from the third place team and you get the 15-minute like behind schedule? If that makes sense. It's like,
that's how it was with us in Trinidad and Tobago. We were on the second plane, and Haley and I were so close to the first challenge. We were so close to getting the clue, but I think you guys sniped it right before us. Yeah.
Dirty.
So, but that set us back, what, an hour, I guess?
A couple hours, probably. Yeah. On a different flight.
Yeah, but remember, we saw them running.
Oh yeah, so we weren't that.
So that little bit of time does hurt.
They held y'all in the airport or something.
I think I think we had a 30-minute lead over y'all, but I like when the race does that, because then it does break it up a little bit. And I do think equalizers, like y'all are saying, is equally important, just because it does give certain teams more of a chance, or it just equals the playing field. But when it's like an equalizer every leg, 15 minutes in theory really isn't a lot of time. It just makes it's like they might as well do what they did on our season, where I feel like we left our pit starts in the order we checked into the pit stop, but we all flew together. It was always the same flight. It was very controlled. So we really all were at an even playing field when leaving the airport. They might as well just do that.
Yeah, I was thinking of like kind of how Survivor does it. Like, you know, there's going to be a merge, right? Like if Amazing Race did somewhat like a format, like if you get to like final 6, that's the equalizer. You know, it's like you just got to make it to the final 6, and then everyone will be equalized, and then you have a chance to like reset the order of the pack. Like I think that would be cool, because then you're like, I don't know, obviously you're always motivated, but like it's kind of like the added bonus of like making top 6 or something. Because 15 minutes, we would tell each other all the time. I'm like, especially if we're behind Kim and Penn, it's like they would have to make a dramatic mistake for us to overcome like just a 15-minute. I don't know. It's just 15 minutes is not enough time if they're going to do it that way.
I realize how stressful that part is of like when you're all with the equalizers, like all of us leaving the airport at the same time and having like you would hear they would count you down and they'd be like 3, 2, 1, run, and you're like no.
It was coming out of the Paraguay airport and Michelle, ole, 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 like just it was just pure chaos.
And you turn around and Gary's on your tail. It's like
the first leg, I was like, please don't run me over.
I was
kill me.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Well, let's talk about the detour for, well, first of all, I love how this was an entire episode of product placement. Bill made it very clear that these were Expedia experiences. So I'm like, now if I go to Guatape, I know I can cook, I can take a boat, I can go there. It was great product placement. But for this detour, they had a choice between bandeja paisa and yapao. In bandeja paisa, teams first had to travel by water taxi into town and prepare 3 plates in order to receive their next clue. In yapao, teams had to load a Willys Jeep with furniture, much like a yapao parade, in order to receive their next clue. Now, if we were on this season of the race, Haley and Kaylynn, which part of the detour do you think you would have done and why?
You already know. We'd be up in that kitchen so fast. Yapao, absolute.
Yeah.
You putting, you know.
Because we grew up too, and we loved we cook at home
cook all the time, and we always said that going to each challenge, we're like, if there's a cooking challenge, we're going to do that because no matter what,
we're not good builders.
Yeah, we're not good builders. No matter what, we're gonna be able to finish that. Like even if the chief spits our stew out, you just keep going
with the egg, scrambling the fried egg, and you feel for them too because it's like
it's not easy.
A fried egg or doing a fried egg at home is stressful. Think about how stressful it is making a fried egg at home.
I
want
to fight in the kitchen. Yeah.
So like I can't imagine having the Amazing Race clock on my head trying to do that.
But kitchen,
I 100% do.
Okay, what about you, Cayla?
I'd like to think, I hope I would pick the cooking. I'm pretty confident Raquel would have pushed for the cooking too. I just don't like building. That could go so many different ways, you know, and like, or stacking things. So I think we would have gone with the cooking.
Yeah, I think Will and I would have had the same mentality as like Rod and Leticia did when they were like, oh, we're already exhausted. This was physical, not doing physical again. Why exert energy when you don't need to? And I feel like cooking is so much more straightforward in essence than it is to like stack all these things like Jenga on the back of a truck that you've never seen in your life before and trying to make it all fit. So
and then they would have had to drive it after, like, also, right?
Something, or maybe
I thought they had to like drive it and like take it to somewhere to where that like tests, like you stacked it right, you roped it right, and it doesn't fall off. I mean, I could be wrong. We can ask the boys, but like that's the part I would feel confident in maybe stacking. But it's like, I mean, look at the roads in Colombia. They're not smooth. So like one little bump, and if everything fell off, I'd be so pissed.
No, you're so right. I mean, anything with stacking like that, I think of the watermelon challenge. Like that's stacking is no joke. That's hard.
And you have to do it clearly detailed. You know, like you have to do it like the example. So it seems, and as we know from the trucks too, you miss one little thing. For us, it was the horns.
From the yurts.
And the yurts, one little thing, then they're not going to pass you. And you don't know what you're missing. So but like you said, cooking is straightforward. Like I know what I have to do. Here's the food, here's the mission. But then we don't know because it's like the boys said, they're like, we don't even know what those ingredients are. So we don't know actually what it is. So, but I would definitely pick cooking.
I would have loved to have seen a team successfully do it though. As a viewer, I do feel like these detours were not evenly stacked by any means. So it would have been nice to see a team successfully complete it just so we as a viewer could have understood what it entailed, how it was supposed to be executed, and if it would have been faster in theory than the cooking, but we'll never know.
And another thing I want to point out about the cooking thing, which I don't think people realize, which could have been hard if you were there by yourself, is with the building, you have a visual, right? You're matching a visual representation. It appeared with the cooking, like they had different kinds of meats in there. And like the girls, Karishma and her cousin, like they luckily asked a team like which one is the meat that we have to do, and then like the other one asked another local. It's like you're having to look at something in another language. So again, this is another moment where the fact that a lot of these teams speak Spanish is a huge advantage because they already know. They like know what that stuff is. The boys are probably looking at it like, dude, I don't speak Spanish. Like, I don't, you know, and if I haven't seen that meat before, I'd be like, I don't know, they all look like chicken to me. You know, like, which meat do I cook? Like, it would be like, in that moment, you're like, screw it, let's go back to building.
Yeah, because we don't have to use our brain.
The grocery list in the Amazon. We had to do the market.
And that was in Portuguese.
And that,
so hard.
Yeah, we don't, that's not my language. And I'm reading the list. It was like, taquito, what's a taquito?
Well,
like,
and also I feel for the cousins because it's like being on the race and being a vegan or a vegetarian, you're malnourished. We were. We didn't eat meat at that point, and it was so hard to get like
Gary,
a
you want to eat my horse?
Yeah.
Not the horse. We never tried it in Kazakhstan.
So I feel for them on that, and not knowing like what meat, like how to cook meat or what it looks like.
I still don't know how to cook meat. We do eat meat again, but we didn't for a long time, and I don't like cooking meat. It grosses me out. She's the cook in the house now, so I'm sure they're like, what is this? I would have undercooked it. Or overcooked it. For sure. I would have messed it up.
Feeding the abuelas like a heartbeat. Yeah.
It would have.
Okay, so for the Roadblock, I can see Anthony and Bailey backstage. I just want to acknowledge them both. Hi, guys. I'll be adding you here shortly. I want to talk about the Roadblock really quick for this episode. For this Roadblock, it was all about the coffee, which is not a surprise since Colombia is, I think, the third largest, is what Phil said, producer of coffee in the world. And on this leg's Roadblock, one team member had to harvest and process 1 kilogram of ripe coffee beans in order to receive their next clue, which then directed teams to the nearby pit stop. I felt like this Roadblock, I loved that it was very true to Colombia with the coffee. It was just a little too straightforward for my liking, and it was just kind of whatever. Thoughts?
Very easy. Well, you know, as everything looks like easy.
And they seem to have an edge. What was their edge? That they were there first, right?
So
Cesar, so they had some sort of edge, but I don't know how
they could like pick it first. So so like by the time everybody else got there, it was already picked through.
I thought that was really smart for Ricky and to recognize that.
They are recognizing so much strategy and like explaining their strategy early on. Like, I'm telling you, they're going to be the team to beat, in my opinion.
That's what I was just telling Haley. And they're pretty ruthless, like not helping the grandparents like that. Like, they're for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like it's one of those things that like sometimes like how difficult things and tasks aren't portrayed that way on television, and I'm like, maybe that's the case, you know, because as you saw the double dutch, like he was like petrified at the height just getting to where they had to go. So it's like maybe there was a longer hike to get to that point that we didn't see. And like, yes, you know, Cesar and Cesar got the close bundles, but I mean, it looks like they kind of had to do some like minor hiking to get to these areas, and they're like hunched. I don't know. It's like, it just doesn't reflect well on TV as far as like an entertainment standpoint, to where I like really felt for Bailey and his brother, where, you know, he's like, all right, you dude, like, you know, hopefully it's just like something cool, like to end it off, you know what I mean? And then to get there and just know you're picking coffee beans and like your time's almost done, I'd be like, I just like, this is like,
I have to set a table in India. They're like, set this table. I'm like, this is like food and bev.
Yeah, like you want to do something epic on your time there, right? Like,
do something cooler.
It would have been, I think it would have been interesting if they maybe had to find something in the hill of coffee beans and then bring it back. Or if maybe after they did the 1 kilogram of the coffee beans, maybe it was a puzzle that would assemble the next clue to where the pit stop was. Just adding an extra layer rather than make it so straightforward of like, I'm just going to sit here and pull coffee beans and be done. And then go find Phil like a matter of feet away to check into the pit stop.
Or like if they had to navigate to Phil, like that final thing was navigating to Phil, because it's like anyone could get lost, anyone could do a wrong turn. But again, look at us critiquing the heck out of this, you know. But like,
I know.
It all is.
So true.
I'm like doing my makeup, getting ready for the thing.
Yeah. No, but that would have been an equalizer if they had to make their way there. Like,
because the directions is always the hard part.
For us.
Well, to give us a firsthand experience of what happened in Colombia on this leg, we have the twins, Anthony and Bailey, joining
Give them
us.
a warm welcome.
Yay!
It's a party in here.
I know. Well, now it's officially a party with y'all. How are you two doing?
What's up, guys?
Great. Yeah, thanks
You
for
guys
having
have
us.
your
Wine?
Anthony Bailey.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any. I messed up.
I
Came
know,
up
I've
here.
been sick. I have cooties. I've been sick. So.
Dry,
No,
75
no.
stuff.
Yeah, we're
Like,
doing
but
75 day hard. We're like, this is an event.
Yeah, we're like, we'll drink for events. I'm like, where is this an event, right?
This is an event.
Yeah,
That's
it gets
our
dangerous
goal.
because you can make anything an event, you know.
That's true.
This is a once in a lifetime event.
Yeah, you're right.
How are you two doing coming off of your episode last night?
We're still excited. I mean, watching it. I mean, I know it was a brutal one for us there in the end, but it was still just awesome experience.
It was a little bit of a
Rewatching it.
tough watch, but like I still even can't believe like we're here. We're talking to you guys. You guys are like all celebrities to me. I mean,
Yeah,
We're has-beens. Y'all are the celebrities now.
I'm washed up now.
Let us dust off the red carpet for you.
Yeah.
We're the
I
fresh
know, it's
new
been-
blood.
Yeah.
Like the old hags in the group.
Yeah.
It's been a trip. Like every time I open my phone, I'm like seeing our names and stuff, and I'm like, it's just crazy.
So
Are y'all
fun.
getting good feedback? Because you're so fun to watch. So are you?
There's been a lot of nice stuff.
Are
A
you
lot of
getting?
everything, but it's hard not to see the good. It's just, we've just been taking.
We've been
the
getting
positive.
cooked a little bit. I mean, yeah, but we laugh at it. Like we had like what over a year to like think about this. Like, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
So like
Yeah,
we knew it was coming. And we just like, I don't know, we're just enjoying it.
nothing we
Like,
haven't
every
heard
second.
before. So
Look, I always say it's better to have people talking about you than just like you being like the dud of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, at
right.
least, like,
We've enjoyed like every second of it. Seriously, like, it's just been so
Good.
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 Because y'all are twins, you have each other. It's like you
Yeah.
have each other to feed off each other the whole time and just be there for each other. That's how it was for us. Like when we would get trolled for a bit, sometimes after some episodes, we'd be like, just block them.
Well, Haley was like trying to fight back. I'm like, just let it go.
Yeah, exactly. During the chat, like ready to fight, and she'd be like, just block them.
God, that's same Haley. I'm you. Will's Kaylynn. Will's like, don't even get near the keyboard. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's so.
"Please."
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got
actually,
roasted.
I'm the troll accounts making fun of Bailey, so I just have to let it all out that way.
He's been tormenting me for years now.
I just have to get it all out right now, and what a better platform.
but then publicly, nationally.
Just kinda sweep it
Audrey in the live chat says, you guys were super enjoyable to watch. You'll be missed on the rest of the season.
I agree.
Thank you,
Oh,
Audrey.
sure.
We
Thank
had
you, Audrey.
such a fun time.
I
miss
would
being
love
on
to
it.
like go to the beginning of y'all's Amazing Race journey in terms of like, how did you all prepare? How did you, get ready for the Amazing Race?
You know what's so funny, and I've been dying to say this. Sorry, Cayla, but we were watching 32 to like because I knew it was gonna be like a similar format. You guys had like a whole, thing going on in the middle, but like
Yeah.
that was like one of the way. I don't know. We watched you guys hyped us up. Just staying in shape. Like, I mean, I don't know, reading maps, trying to learn stick.
Obviously ran. I wouldn't say a lot, but a lot for me, So we did all that. We bought compasses. We got like all that. We did practice reading maps. Never ended up touching a map the whole race. So
Really?
No, we actually like totally didn't even get one in Mexico. And I was like, after it was said and done, I was like, what was wrong with us? Like we pulled
I
over
know
so
in
many
the
times.
car, I kept saying, I was like, dude, we need a map, because he was like, I'll drive and then I'll do directions, but I didn't have
didn't
a
help
map,
with
so I kinda
directions?
dropped the ball.
At all. Like I was like, dude, okay, like do you see like this street name? Like where are we? He's like, dude, Senior Frogs. And I'm like, we can't even pull over.
I wasn't asking you to pull over. It was just like, all right, whatever. We would have been better with a map.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
were y'all fans of the show beforehand or?
So we weren't like, okay, so it goes back to like my grandma. She's a big Jeopardy, Survivor, Amazing Race, and then Big Brother. So it's like all she had just circulating on the TV. So I think like over time, like we watched all the earlier seasons, but like when they were coming out. So like forever. So it's like something ingrained in us. And then right around COVID, we started kind of getting back in and watching all the seasons again. And then after we kind of found out we were going to do this, so there was like watching film, you know, like going back and then like
I was getting
really
like
watching
stressed
you
out
guys'
watching it.
seasons. Like,
Yeah, you're like, this is like school.
Anymore.
You're like studying it.
yeah, they're not as exciting anymore. You just get nervous watching them. You're like, oh, this happened to me. Like,
terrified. Did you guys try out or did y'all get picked? Like, did they find you?
Someone reached out, but then we went through the whole process
of
The
it.
casting process.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it was for us too.
That was the same with Raquel and I.
I don't know if that was like a
But I feel like you have less of an advantage that way.
Because then you have super fans like James.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
They've been
they're studying and
they're ready. Whereas you're just coming and you're like, all right, I gotta watch every
I have to learn how to
episode.
drive sticks. I remember we had a call and they're like, okay, would you be able to jump off of a boat, swim 10 feet underwater, pick up a clue, and swim out? And we were looking at each other in the car. We're like, yeah, totally.
yeah, for sure. I did that.
I did that last weekend.
Oh, yeah, are you a good swimmer? I was like, we're good. Yeah. I'm like,
So good.
they're fine.
Well, I'm looking forward to talking more about this leg with you. We're going to go through each team from Ricky and Cesar, and then we'll make our way to y'all, and we'll give you guys a moment to just talk about your leg and experience. So with Ricky and Cesar, they finally get their first place finish. I feel like they were hungry for it these last two legs, and I feel like they're really just finding their footing and their stride. And as a fan for Cesar, I was so excited that they got first because I feel like it's a super fan's dream to hear Phil say like you're team number one. Like it's such an exciting moment. Haley and Kaylynn, I know you guys said that you feel like they're the strongest contender right now.
I think that they're good. They are in my top three. I have three that I think that are gonna like take it home. They're my top. I would say they're probably number one. But I also I wrote down the names because I always Juan and Shane.
Okay.
They're gonna do well, and then Rod and Leticia.
Okay.
Because they're strong, but then they're also like
They're all
physical,
physical,
too.
yeah.
Like when the grandma and grandpa ask for help or something like that, and they're like, I don't know.
Savage.
My money. I'll help you.
Yeah.
You want my money?
Yeah.
I was so impressed that they were the first in their group, their departure group. Ricky and Cesar were the first team to get to the top. And I loved how Ricky was doing his little step clicker on the way up as well.
They're ready.
This was just a very clean leg for them. And I do think like Cesar just is so great at thinking in terms of like running down the boat dock and asking the boat guys, like who's the fastest, who can drive the fastest, and even stopping to ask like the different tuk-tuks, like, hey, like who knows where this is? Like those little moments.
One.
Yeah.
Like
I'm telling you, they're strategic in like everything that they've done so far, or at least they're like picking out the strategic comments that they're making, and that's what's making the show kind of thing. Yeah. But I'm curious, like without obviously like giving anything away, like your first impressions, Anthony and Bailey, of like teams, like who did you think was going to be your like number one competition? Because watching it from the couch,
it's so
seeing everyone's little promos, like for me, it was like Cesar and Cesar, just because I just thought they were like a dynamic duo that were like, with one being like a super fan.
Yeah, you know, not that we ever doubted them, but they were definitely a sleeper. Like, you know, like just how well they've done the first, you know, few. Like, you didn't expect that, you know. You see Rod and Leticia walk in, you're like, I'm like, this dude's gonna like pick me and Anthony up with like fire force and clank our heads together, kind of.
Yeah, when we got to LA, like we were the first ones in the hotel, and we watched actually like everyone come in. We were like, you know, watching out the room, and we were like, oh, every single person that came in, we're like, oh, they might be good. Oh, they might be good. And by the end of it, we're like, damn, this can be a good one.
Yeah, Shane and Juan with their military experience, like there was a couple people. I guess we're getting to everybody, but yeah.
Well, I always love when the race pulls from real life experience. And I think with this cooking detour, they knocked it out of the park. They worked really well together. Cesar being a food stylist, they just brought it. And it was just really impressive to see them just kind of maneuver this leg and just really maintain a lead throughout.
I think I saw him do it with his eyes closed, actually.
Yeah, I think he did. Now that I say it.
They were meant for this show.
I think he made extras for the people watching too. I think he just did it like all of it.
Yeah. Dude, and their trip that they won, I was like, holy smokes. Okay, Haley and Kaylynn and James, like James and I already talked about it, but I'm like, this season so far, the first place teams have gotten kick-ass trips.
Portugal,
Like a 5-night trip to Cape Town. I'm like, that's like bucket list for me. I'm like, holy.
Well, we never won anything, so luckily we have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
You won America's heart. What are you talking
you won America's
about?
hearts. That's the biggest prize of all.
That's all we ever wanted.
I also would love to know just how much of a lead or how fast they did the cooking, because I feel like all the teams started to show up at the roadblock as they finished and left for the pit stop. So I would love to know how much of a lead they really had from the cooking. And I can see them in the chat with that little emoji. So, hey, boys. In second place this leg was very impressed. Amber and Vinnie, 12th place. They had a bumpy start first leg to 7th. And they were like, we are not going to be at the bottom of the pack this leg, jumping all the way up to 2nd. I was just really impressed with these two, even if there was a little friction in the kitchen during that cooking task.
Listen, it's been a minute since we've had a couple that's brought friction. So as a viewer, I'm here for it.
I know.
But no, they
crumbling.
She's like, I think you might be cracking a little bit.
as like if you went with a couple.
Yeah.
Oh, I would murder Colton. I'd be like, get me a new partner. I would straight up be like, can I have James, please? I'd be like, God, no.
But I think Amber and Vinnie were like kind of cracking with each other. I was telling him, I was like, oh, and then they just pull it off.
Yes.
No, they had another like flawless leg, because I don't think they're getting enough credit for how much placement they made up. Like, they crushed it.
And I said this on the Rob Has a Podcast earlier today, like, and I mean this very respectfully, but like what I love about Amber and Vinnie is they remind me of like old school Amazing Race, where we had those couples that literally brought the heat. And I find them to be really interesting, and their dynamic, it clearly works for the two of them.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if, with the preview for next week, if they're going to start hitting these boiling points where they're going to trip up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I always said this. I said this a lot, like reflecting back on my season, like the Amazing Race is like a boiler room. Like it's like the steam is just building, and then like eventually like the top's going to blow. Like, at least that was my experience. Like, it was just like every leg got a lot harder, and like you're just so tired. And I mean, it's just, I can't imagine doing it with a significant other.
Oh, luckily all of our fights are off camera. Like in the hotel room.
Luckily mine just wasn't shown. Well, that's like one thing I noticed about you guys, like especially like just your experience watching this leg in particular, which, like, not to derail from like going over like each team's placement, but like you guys just had fun the whole time. And like, I always gravitate and am attracted to like the teams that are having like fun and enjoying the experience. Cause like at the end of the day, it's like a once in a lifetime, right? Like, like it's a waste of time to just like get down on yourselves. Like, I really commend you guys, because like, it's really hard to kind of keep that positive attitude in that moment. Like, and I enjoyed, like, you're like, I think we might be like the one team. Like, has anyone gone back and forth this many times?
Hilarious. I feel like that's what totally drew us to YouTube from the beginning.
For sure.
Is your positive attitude. You're like, hey, it's so cool that we're here, and that's how we felt. I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. If I get knocked out, I still have to say I was on the Amazing Race, which is so big and so cool.
I feel like we had like matching vibes with you guys for sure.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
Twin power.
We watched you. We text James. And we're like, well, we wanted to do the pit. We need to do it with the twins.
So we genuinely just had such a fun time, even when we were stressed.
And that was reflected. It was reflected on the screen.
You have to.
You have to. It's important to have fun with it.
It was awesome.
Ricky and Cesar said, not sure of timing, but we finished the roadblock before other teams arrived. So they definitely had a lead.
Whoa.
And I mean, Amber and Vinnie must have had a fast boat, because they left in the second departure group, and just seeing how gassed everyone was going up those stairs. I mean, they really did make up quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
They definitely were bickering a little bit in the kitchen, though. And it was funny when like Amber's like leaning against the cooking, table, and she's like talking to the camera about like, oh yeah, Vinnie cooks. And then Vinnie's like, I need your help. Like, I need you to come help me cook. And it was just, I love that little moment between the two of them.
I would have been Vinnie, and Raquel would have definitely been Amber. Like, there were so many moments like that. I'm like, Raquel, can you focus, please?
But again, I mean, shout out to Vinnie for just like how he really executed that roadblock. I think that definitely served them well to make up so much time by using both hands, putting the basket between his legs and just kind of going for it. So they're a strong team. And I think that,
The dream team, yep.
Yeah, the race is all a learning curve, and I feel like the first 2 legs they got their jitters out, and now they might be one of those top teams going forward.
You're right, because he does work well under pressure. Like his job is to work under pressure like that.
Both of them.
And that's not a big like that's a big thing to have conquered, because if you don't know how to work under pressure, then you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Derek and Shalisa. I love these two. I just think they are a breath of fresh air. They also remind me a little bit of old school Amazing Race, just like how they are, how they carry themselves on the show. I love that moment with her talking about how she had a cancer scare about 3 to 4 years ago. She's still in recovery mode, so she's always cherishing each day, and just a really great way, an opportunity to represent cancer survivors, grandparents, and retirees. I love these. I just like their dynamic is just really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I agree. Like I said it before, they remind me a lot of Kim and Pin. I feel like every season kind of has like the mom and dad of the season, like Karishma, and I always forget it's Karishma and who else?
Kishori.
Kishori. Like they're like, thanks, mom and dad. You know, like they're willing to help others. To me, they're like the sleeper team. Like I mean, I guess I shouldn't say sleeper because they did very well the first leg, but like they're ones that like I wouldn't pick out of like the lineup of like, ooh, they're going to be strong. And like they've proven to be like very calm, very consistent. I really like them a lot.
Yeah.
And they're funny with each other.
Yeah, like when they were
they're adorable.
When they were
they're such a hot grandparent couple.
Oh my god,
yeah, they are good looking.
And like when the makeup challenge, she's like, "You are so sweaty."
Hilarious. She said something funny.
Yeah,
they're cute.
Them cooking together on that detour was just so relatable. The way that they were bickering with each other, and they're a fun team. And I agree. I think they're a team to watch.
Yeah,
I think with how steady that they've been since the beginning, 3 third places in a row. So they're maintaining the top 3 placements, I think makes them a strong team.
I feel like they're super fit too.
Oh, they're
I feel like
so
they're in
fit.
insane shape.
Yeah.
And speaking of in shape, I mean, Juan and Shane, 4th place, they are definitely strong men, and they really are surprising me. I think going into the race, I wasn't sure if they were going to be a team that I would be like rooting for per se, but they are absolutely surprising me. I loved the moment of Juan talking about his birth town, how he was in Colombia, how they moved to the States in 1999. It was a great opportunity for him and his family, and just being able to share this experience with Shane. I like that they're in touch with their sensitive side.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're kind of goofy. Like I know a lot of pilots and they're all very type A, and I'm not getting that like major like type A vibe out of them.
I was worried that they would be.
No, like I think like their personality is like really shined through, and yeah, I think they're funny. Like, you know, when they were like heckling them when they were like, he was the only guy out there getting the coffee beans or whatever, like he's like, I just tune him out. Like, I don't know, he just like seems like goofy, and his like personality came across like very likable. So yeah, they're not just like a strong like male duo. Like I think they're like very personable too. I feel like they're relatable to a lot of people.
It's kind of like Ryan and Dusty a little bit. I feel like they're
yes,
Dusty
100%.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone quite's gonna level up to like Dusty's like Mad Hatter vibes, but like they're a little bit more sane than Dusty.
No, that's so true.
Even keel.
Yeah, but they weren't just like, you know, these like meathead like jocks, you know.
I agree.
And they're another team that's been steady at the top, 4th place, 3 legs in a row, but we can't skim past them to talk about the next team until we talk about how Shane cuts an avocado.
Yeah.
That's
giving serial killer vibes.
Dinner with the freaking cucumber.
I was sending him some of those pictures I saw this morning.
So funny. So funny.
In 5th place was Rod and Leticia. And again, just a powerhouse team. They're so strong. I mean, they got first back to back in legs 1 and 2. So they did drop a little bit in the placements with the 5th spot. But I mean, they're just really enjoying themselves. Like I loved when they were on the boat going from the steps to the detour, just like talking about how they're like loving this experience, that they're getting to share it with each other. I just feel like are like a power couple.
Yes.
Not only in the race, but in their day-to-day life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be top 3.
Bold statement. Bold
I would not be surprised with how consistent they've been.
Yep.
So,
Well, and they work well together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like where Amber and Vinnie might be like at each other's throats, or who knows what's going to happen in the next episode. But if those two kind of lose it with each other, I feel like Rod and Leticia so far have been pretty even keel with each other.
Yeah. I just wish, like, I just thought it would have been an awesome, like, badass TV moment when Shane like slid, or Juan, I don't know which one it was, like slid, like I just wish she would have like grabbed him by his backpack, like thrown him back and like run past him. She like stopped for him, you know. I'd be like, hell no, I would have ran his ass over.
I love that you two already know what's gonna happen, so you get to listen to everybody's predictions.
I know,
like,
that's the best.
That's how it was for us. People will be making their predictions and like, you don't know.
I feel important. I can only like add on, and I'm like, I'm just gonna shut up down here till.
So hard for us because we're like, we love like just to talk and gossip. So people would be asking, like, we can't tell you. But what do you think?
Oh, you think it's the boyfriends?
Sometimes I just start,
but yeah, I think they're gonna be a strong team going forward. You know, I think as a viewer, I mean, as a racer, it's one thing, but as a viewer and a fan of the show, I do love when teams face adversity to some extent. So as much as I'm giving praise to these top consistent teams, I would love to see them face a little bit of adversity. I would love for them to know maybe what it's like to be like, oh, I might be eliminated. It would just be fun to see them and then how they bounce back from that.
Yeah. They need to be humble.
I have faith it will happen. I have faith
it
will happen. It always does.
Always does.
Sadly, this episode, and I don't know if y'all noticed this, but like, where was Yvonne and Melissa?
I know. I thought the same thing.
They were not in the episode, like, at all.
At all.
Wait. Which one are Yvonne and... Whoa! My mind is, like, blown. Hold on. Back up. Beep, beep. Who's wait, Yvonne and
not
Melissa?
Not firefighters. The other.
They're the girlfriends that met in the hiking. Girls that, like,
no,
I
saw them. I saw, like, she gave her a kiss at the end of the thing.
Same.
I know, but, like, where were they between then?
I thought the exact same. I had all my notes, and I was like, I don't have any notes on them.
They were the only team I had no notes on, and I was like, wait a minute, they're checking in. You know,
were
great
they in
for them.
The episode?
They got 6th place. They left the Detour 7th. Like, I think because they're smack dab in the middle, and we know how this goes with Amazing Race. If you're in the middle of the pack, you don't really get edited.
Yeah,
that's true. That's why we got so much edit, because we were always in the back.
Okay, but I do remember seeing them check into the map. But you're right. I don't remember
they did
seeing
a cute little high five.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything about them.
What are they like, Anthony and Bailey? What are they like?
Yeah, spill the tea. Spill the tea.
Cool.
They were really, really cool.
It was short-lived, but like we were sitting next to them like on the plane and stuff throughout it. So like we got time just to chat, and they're badass, honestly. Like
they
are badass. Tell more of their story and stuff, but they're cool. I wouldn't mess with them for sure.
Yeah,
hey, they're cool. They're cool though.
Hey, maybe they're gonna be the top 3.
I know.
Who
Was that
knows?
foreshadowing right there?
Maybe they're the sleepers. I hope we like see more of them. Like I would imagine we will.
I hope we do too.
Because they seem really capable. Like they seem like strong, like you were saying, badass women.
Yeah.
And from the little we've heard from just like Chris and Mary and Maya and Rohan, like we were like, they're really great women, and they also have intense, insane careers. Like they are badass.
Yeah.
So,
but I hate that when you said their names, I literally was like, wait, who is that?
Yeah, they were hardly edited
like,
this episode, which is unfortunate.
Sorry, girls.
Well, another all-female team who got a lot of screen time this episode was Sunny and Bizzy, our firefighters. And it was sad to see that fourth wall broken, where we get a little bit of a glimpse of the outside real world coming into the race. Sunny received a call overnight about her grandmother who hadn't been doing well. She passed away. Her grandmother raised her, helped her become the woman she is today. And I think going into a race or any show that I've done, my biggest fear, it was always like, God, that phone call. Like if anyone were to call and say a relative passed away, like what would I do? And I felt like she handled it so well, so beautifully. This entire leg was like in honor and respect of her grandma. And I loved those little moments of like the abuelas and how her grandmother like loved coffee or like being raised on a farm. I just thought this was a beautiful episode for these two.
Yeah. And how ironic, you know?
I know. I was so happy that they stayed,
Yeah, me
sometimes
too.
that'll knock a team out. So I was happy that they stayed because, it's like, obviously if your grandma's passing, she would hate for you to give up on your dream like that and to just throw in the towel. So I was happy that they stayed for that.
Yeah. I mean, because that's why we lost a team on my season, was because a family member had passed. And, it's a hard decision to be put in.
Oh,
you know, like,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm really glad she stayed. I love them. I think I wish I follow them on Instagram, and I think they're really, really funny. And I'm hoping that they get a little bit more screen time and we see a little bit more of their personalities. Like, you saw it a little bit. She's like rowing in the little tuk-tuk thing. And I don't know. They seem funny. Like, I want to hang out with them.
I would have loved to have seen them because I think initially they had plans to go to the Willie's truck detour, but I think either they stumbled upon the cooking or they followed a team that ended up going to the cooking, so they didn't go to the detour that they had initially planned. I would have liked to have seen them do that because I'm like, they're going to be this team that does the detour that nobody else does.
Right.
They'll accomplish it out of nowhere. They'll figure it out.
Well, because they stuck with the flag one for like ever. I'm like, so like maybe they would have like stuck it out, but
that flag looked so hard.
I mean, the Willies looked hard. The fact that it was also called Willies, I'm like, it gives me the Willies, like,
overrated.
That looked so hard.
Anthony and Bailey, did you guys know? Like, did Sunny talk about this at all during the leg? Like, did you guys know this was going on in her life?
No idea. And I remember like being around them the morning of and stuff, and I never heard anything.
I didn't find out till we watched, honestly.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was the first for me. I mean, and maybe if we stuck around longer, like maybe you would learn like after, but like that for us, that was the first time we heard about it.
Yeah.
So that was tough for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine getting that call and then doing that immediately.
You're getting a call from like the outside in general. Like I'm sure your heart just drops.
You're like, this isn't good. Like you don't just get phone calls
scary.
like during this time.
It rarely happens on the race. Like I don't think it's really ever happened. I mean, Survivor once or twice, and then Big Brother, I feel like it happens more frequently because it's live, so people are invested in these people's lives. But the race, I mean, gosh, I'm glad they stuck it out in honor of her grandma, and it was a beautiful lag, and I appreciate her taking us on that journey and just like, honoring her grandma. I thought it was really beautiful how the race put that together for them.
And it makes sense that you guys wouldn't have known because when you're done, you really do get scooped up. Scooped up.
See ya. Yeah.
We left like turban in hand.
Turban in our bag.
We had to walk around the airport for like 2 days, basically, holding our India
like, what
costumes.
do we do with these? And they're like, just bring them with you.
Days. We're like,
so we would hide them underneath the plane seats, our whole Indian outfit. Hide them underneath the plane seats and then forget them so that we wouldn't have to take them. So I'm like,
and people would chase us down.
That. I'm not carrying these around back to the States.
I resent this outfit.
Yeah.
Oh no, see, I would have like held onto that outfit like gold. Like it's like a memory. That's like my biggest regret.
No, because then they said we were gonna have to give them
we
back
had to give
to
back
costumes.
to the costume.
They were like, bring it back to the States and get them back to costumes.
I lost it.
Calling this back to the States and giving it back.
Madison got his full outfit, and I'm still jealous.
It was a whole bag of
turban.
Yeah, not to like out Dusty, but he was like a klepto on the race. Like he was stealing like little trinkets all the time, and I was like, "Damn, that was so smart. I wish I did that."
Madison and Riley got their whole Indian.
Look behind James.
Look at the gnome.
You got a gnome at Velocity.
Well, I emailed Travelocity. I was like, I feel like I deserve a gnome after competing on the Amazing Race.
Like, you're not asking for much, dude.
It's not a gnome. Come on.
We had all of our clues, and then we were giving them to like Frank and Jerry, and then Jerry.
Like, what do you guys have?
Jerry busted us. Jerry's like, the girls gave this to us. We're like, damn it, Jerry. Where's this? Tell anybody.
Aparna has her fanny pack, and that's the one thing I'm most jealous of.
That's a big
we
one.
only have clues.
Ours would probably be so.
Oh wait, we have our
bag.
Our bag.
That's like one thing I'm so shocked about that like you don't get to keep. Like I guess like just going on like as a newbie to like on like reality television, like I literally thought that I could keep whatever I wanted. And then at the end when they're like taking everything, I'm like, wait, like I literally sweat in this. Like why can't I keep it?
I stole my jacket from challenge.
I gave my soul for this. Like what? It's a fanny pack.
When I got eliminated on the challenge, they were like, "We need the uniform back," and I was like, "Over my dead body," and I hid my jacket. I was like, I'm keeping this after the abuse we went through.
They literally cut it off my almost dead body. So there was nothing left to be kept from that. No, I think I have like some stuff, but yeah, I was like, I don't know, it's left in the ambulance. And I think I kept like 2 or 3 things.
Another way to go out.
Yeah.
Well, in 8th place this leg was Kishori and Karishma. They are bringing the entertainment, thank God. I would love to start a petition for more cousins on The Amazing Race. I think there's only ever been 5 in the US version of Amazing Race, but 3 of them are some of the most iconic. And I'm saying 3 because I'm grouping Kishori and Karishma in that category. But we have Sharla and Myrna and Leo and Jamal.
Yes.
The cousins just bring this different dynamic that it's fun to watch. They are hilarious. And I love that they said after running the first 2 legs, they know that they've spent a lot of time second guessing themselves. I mean, they had to look for Iguana Bridge and they were just like, this bridge. And they were a little all over the place, second guessing themselves, but they really, I think, dialed it back this leg, and they're starting to find this groove, learning from their mistakes and to trust their gut. So I have high hopes for these 2, and I appreciate the entertainment they're bringing.
Yeah, they're great.
I'm here for the chaos. I mean, I guess like I wouldn't necessarily say they 100% dialed it back. Like she was panicked coming up to, mom and dad left like, can you help us with the meat? We don't eat meat. I love the chaos energy. I'm here for it. It's like, I don't know. So
you did that impersonation well.
I feel like her eyes get really big and she's like, please help us. And like I love it. Like it's just so genuine, and it's so like because it's like they're expressing what I feel like I was feeling like the whole race. Yeah. I don't know. I love them so much. I think I don't know. I hope they go far. I feel like they could be. I don't know. I'm all over the place with where I feel with these teams. I'm like I feel like they could make it to the end maybe. Yep. Like. I don't know. I like them a lot. They're fun.
It could very well be like a Tiffany and Krista situation where they pull like a top 4 out of their hat. Like,
yeah.
At first, Tiffany and Krista, you weren't thinking that they were going to be as tough competitors as they were. Michelle and Vic. Like, if Michelle and Vic didn't get knocked out from directions, they would have been top.
They would have been top 3.
And 100%. I don't want to like throw this prediction out there, but like they ask for help a lot and they get help a lot.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about them that like people like genuinely want to help them. I'm curious if they ever ask Cesar and Cesar to see if they help them. But I'm like, you just never know. Like Raquel literally like digs into me about this one time where we like helped Kim and Penn, and she's like, do you think if we would have done that they wouldn't have gone first? Like, and I'm like, Raquel, I can't go down that rabbit hole, like, and that was so like not the final either, so it's like you can't think like that, but it's like it's kind of true. Like you just never know when you help someone. If you wouldn't have done that and that team makes it farther than you're like, well shit, would they not have made it? So it's like I wonder if like people are kind of seeing the same thing we're seeing from the TV is like, oh, they're just like chaos. And like, you just want to help them, but really like, dude, that help could get them all the way to first place in the very end, which I would personally love to see. But
we have so much of that curiosity from our season too, because of obviously the Mine 5 help. Like when my biggest thing for me is Germany with the wall. I'm like, if all the teams didn't share answers, would that have been the equalizer?
But it was a non-elimination. The fact that there's no non-elimination in the season.
Yeah, this one's crazy.
Ew, we'd be screwed.
Well, we would have been out fourth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel for you guys.
You guys still killed it.
Yeah.
We were in line with you guys, by the way.
Yeah, you guys, we would have taken y'all in.
Yeah. We can't say that. Not aligned. We would all just be buddies.
We'd be friends.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah.
Sauerkraut.
For weeks after, I would see sauerkraut on my ceiling at night, just like over and over again.
So
for
traumatic.
Weeks, I couldn't get over it. Yeah.
Gross.
Oh my! I do think you're right though about Kishori and Karishma in the sense that like people seem eager to help them. I mean, I loved that little moment with Angie and Danny though, where Danny's like, "Yeah, let's help each other get to the D," and Angie's like, "No." No, I was like surprised Angie was saying that. I was,
Well,
I was
again,
like,
dude,
go
Angie,
mom.
I texted you. I was like, oh my God, I love Angie because she's like, why would we help them? Because that was Raquel and I's thing. Like, we'll help as long, especially when it gets to the end, if we feel confident we can beat them in a foot race. And his mom was like, why? We can't beat them in a foot race, or she couldn't. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's so smart to keep in the back of your mind, because that was our thought process. If we can beat them in a foot race, fine.
Yep. Well, I mean, they definitely seem fast because Karishma, as they were running to that pit stop, she was like, this is where we work. This is what we train for. I was like, yes, with those self-affirmations. They crack me up. Well, speaking of Danny and Angie, I love these two. It's no secret. I mean, I've said this every recap. I know Danny. So it's been so fun to watch him and like how he thinks on this show. But when their boat broke down, I could tell Danny internally was dying on the inside, but he kept smiling. He's like, yep, I'll get there. I was like, oh my God.
What's my heart?
He's a better person than me. I'd be like, this is bullshit. Like, let me switch boats.
When he was doing his mom's makeup, I'm like, you were so cute.
Yeah. Wait, I have a question for Anthony and Bailey because I don't know that I was paying attention. So did you have to take a boat regardless? Like, I guess I could wait until we get to you guys. But like, I know you had to take a boat to get to the cooking, but did you have to take a boat to get to the Willies too?
No.
So were you guys taking boats back and forth?
No, it would have been a lot cooler if we did.
Before the sunlight, yeah.
I'd be like, these guys just want to go on a boat ride. They keep getting.
We actually just wanted to like hang out on the boat for free. It was fun.
We just cashed out all free boat rides.
Okay.
How far apart were the challenges?
The Willies?
They weren't too far. Like probably like a 5-minute little run at most.
If even that, I feel like that's why we'll wait for that. But yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I can't wait to get to you guys.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I have more questions. I'll wait till then.
Danny and Angie, I mean, they clearly have a game plan and like knowing when to like work with another team, when to not work with another team. I think Danny's super fan knowledge is definitely going to continue to serve these two well. But I loved watching Angie at the Roadblock, and Danny's all like, another team left. And he's being so kind rather than being like, hurry up, mom. Like, he's just like, another team left, mom. And she's like, I hear you, buddy, but this isn't helpful. Like, it was just really.
Yeah. I would do that to Raquel all the time. Like when she was like totally messing up the domades, I'm like, just read your clue. Like, pay attention to detail. She's like, I got it, Cayla. I get it. I got it. Like,
I do that to Haley too with the bottle dance. I'm like, Haley, they're ready to go home, and she's like, I know.
But my thing is like the beginning so far has been very physical, very taxing. Like the continuation leg, starting with the stairs. So it's like if they can get past like the heavy physical stuff, which it seems like the beginning has been heavily physical.
Yeah,
I think it is going to get more detail oriented. So it's like if they can just stick it out, I think they'll kind of work their way back up in the pack. I hope at least. But.
Yeah, I think that their time is coming in terms of like what tasks they'll be able to break through. And I do think now that Angie has a roadblock under her belt, and I felt this on the race. I was so terrified of doing a roadblock. It brought such anxiety.
Really?
Oh, I was terrified. I didn't want to be the reason we were eliminated. I would never be. I was like, if I do a roadblock that I can't do, I would be devastated. Like I would have been so
right.
sad. I definitely overthought it because I was like, oh, it's going to be, like whatever. But with Angie, I think now that she has a roadblock under her belt, I feel like she's going to feel a little bit more confident in being like, okay, I can actually like power through this. Because I do feel like she took her time, a little too much time with pulling the coffee beans. But I think that comes with, it's your first roadblock. You don't necessarily know how many of these coffee beans you're going to need, what you're necessarily going to, how to do it correctly. So their time is coming, I feel like.
I agree.
Fingers crossed. In 10th place was Michelle and Sean. And Michelle said at the very beginning, comebacks are the best. But sadly, I feel like they just kept falling to the back on this leg. And I'm hoping we see a comeback coming up in the next couple of weeks. But they had an interesting journey, this leg, with the switching up of the detours, just like Anthony and Bailey. How are y'all feeling about Michelle and Sean?
I love
Yeah,
them.
we love Michelle.
I love them. They're so funny. Like I even like when we were, in our little rat race for the last place, like, me and Sean are cracking jokes. Like we were having fun. Like honestly, like it was.
They never like had a bad attitude either. Like they were just so positive and like they could fill a room with their just like energy almost. Like they're just so like, I don't know. It was great being around them and
like
obviously
I had a good time getting the boot with them. It was a
No, they're a lot of fun to watch. They're cute and she's really positive and cute. Like I love their energy.
Yeah,
Sean
awesome.
overcame some fears for sure. It was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. That was crazy. Like, I guess I just didn't really, again, it's like watching it from the couch is a totally different experience. Like, I was like, I don't get what he's like so afraid of. And then I guess they kind of panned to the view. I was like, oh, it is pretty high. And like, if he's petrified of heights, like, that makes sense. But I mean, like, he was petrified.
Let's hope he's not having
He was like crippled.
like that. That might screw him over though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was like muddy and stuff. Like it was a lot going on over there.
Yeah. He's like, this race is not worth my life.
Yeah. If you're struggling with the hill, imagine doing like next week when they're paragliding or hang gliding, whatever that is. Is he going to end up getting stuck with that? Is that going to be their downfall? Like, if this was already a hurdle, I can't imagine like an actual heights task being any different, or maybe a little bit more of an extreme of like, I absolutely cannot do this. So, but that's what the race is all about. I do think it is stepping outside of your comfort zone, facing those fears. And I loved how encouraging Michelle was with being like, just take another step. You got this. Like, if you need to sit on your butt, like do whatever you need to do, but like, you've got this, and just kind of like reeled him back into reality.
Yeah.
There was one other thing I thought, when she was getting in her head with the roadblock, and I loved how then Sean was picking her up. Like, I just love.
They have a good like flip-flop balance. I think like at that point I was already just like, the race does such a good job of like making it seem like it's neck and neck. So I'm like, I'm trying to like gauge the lighting in like the back. Like I'm like, all right, are Anthony and Bailey still in it? Like I could like, I'm like literally like looking into every little detail. So like I think I missed that little part, but I don't doubt that they do a good job of building each other up.
You don't realize the time differences. Like when we got knocked on India, the last person to do their interview, it was like hours before us. Like we were doing our interview at night. In our turbines. And it's like you think that you're neck and neck, but we were so far away from it. But it's just the editing does a good job of making it seem like that. But we were
that was the same for us in Ireland. Like it was pitch black when we were doing ours, and then like Kim and Penn's was like at noon. Like like we're like, oh, we didn't do so hot.
Well, that brings us to Anthony and Bailey. Unfortunately, the last team to check into the pit stop, which means with no non-eliminations this leg, they sadly were eliminated. Y'all, I know we've already touched on it, but you two were so entertaining. I think the two of you are hilarious. I love the dynamic the two of you brought to the race. I want to know, in terms of the detour and switching back and forth, if you would have stuck to one of them, do you think that would have been the race-changing decision?
Well, first of all, thank you for all the nice things.
Thank you so
much.
much.
I'm sick. I got cooties right now, but thank you for all the nice words. And we were talking about it because it's hard to look back, and we like hate thinking about it, but I actually think we would have had a much.
Yeah, I think the Willies, like that was whack. Like there was no way we were doing that. Like I think we made the right choice to switch from that. I just think we should have stick with cooking the first time. Because like obviously we went back and did it. And
I was like watching ourselves go back and forth, just like hiding my face. So I was like, oh my God. I think there would have been a higher chance because there was a couple teams, even when we came to cook, like there was maybe 3 teams left that we could see. Like we were still like somewhat in it a little bit. When I say in it, like, you know, it wasn't just like
Yeah.
we saw.
I'm not
like,
gonna say like
saw,
would we have won? Like, I mean, it beat Sean and Michelle. Like, I don't, who knows? But I think we wouldn't have been stuck as long.
Well, my whole thing was like, as long as you see teams, like you're still in it. So I guess like for us, like help us understand, because again, you guys are in it, we weren't. What about the cooking, like when you went the first time, like spooked you guys? Like, I guess like what about it made you be like, okay, no, I actually think we need to go back to the Willies? Like, was it something specific? Was it all together? Was it like in Spanish and you couldn't read it? Like, what was like the behind the scenes?
It was all in Spanish.
Well, yeah, like the ingredients, it was like all these names and stuff where I was like, is it going to take us long? Which obviously, like I said, the other teams managed to figure it out just fine. So like,
I remember looking at it and I was like, dude, like this
we were tired. I was like, we already kind of know what's up with these wheelies over here. Or the wheelies, whatever. I'm like, I like Monster Jam. I like all that stuff. Let's go party at the Willies again, you know? And it was just like, it was just bad business. It was just bad again. We were like, it's raining now.
Well,
it's like,
we also were like,
yeah,
because we were like, we can't read this, but we already put our eyes on the Willies. Like, we know what we're supposed to do. Like, maybe we just, you know, I just don't think we're confident enough in one decision or another, and that's just.
And I think we were like getting false hope that we still were seeing teams. We were like, okay, like maybe if we just like get it together real quick, like we can make up for it at the I don't know, the next stop and figure out what the deal was, the roadblock. But it just didn't work out that way. So
did it cross your mind? Did it cross your mind to ask the other teams like for help, or because you were in the back, did you feel like not confident that anyone would help you?
You know, it's not like even Michelle and Sean are so nice. I'm not saying they would have, but like they might have helped. Like I think
we were very focused on our own race at that point. I think we kind of took everyone else out of it. So.
Yeah, like we didn't want to be like, hey, like I know we're actually racing right now for last, but like you want to help us out so we can catch up. You know, like I was kind of like, let's just stay in our own lane, dude. Let's just figure this out. Like.
No, I love that. I'm just curious, I guess, like, what spooked you and like what your mindset was like going back forth.
And you guys know that better than anyone else because you guys were even on the race longer than us. Just when you're under pressure like that, sometimes your brain doesn't work all the way. Like,
not at all.
Like, you know, there's cameras in your face. You're getting asked these questions. You know, you're like stressed out. It's raining. I'm like, what are we doing? You know, it was a lot for sure.
No,
James is nodding like, yeah, right.
Yeah, like couldn't
James like I had a flawless race.
No, are you kidding? You didn't hook up the horns.
He's like, actually can't relate, dude.
We don't even. James, did y'all ever switch detours?
No, I was gonna say I don't feel like any team can switch detours as gracefully and as efficiently as Hung and Chi did.
No,
like they switched detours more than anyone on our season, and it always served them well. But yeah, usually I feel like switching detours is obviously can be a huge disadvantage. But I feel like with this, I mean, the detours didn't look like they were far apart from each other. So I don't think switching the detours was necessarily like, you know, I think maybe longtime fans of the show might be like, oh, I can't believe they switched detours. That's such a big no-no. But I'm like, this isn't necessarily a traditional race, in my opinion. Like, this is still very much like a pandemic style race. So I feel like everything was a little bit more controlled and closer to each other. So I don't feel like switching the detours was necessarily a bad decision on your guys' part. Maybe you did it more than once, but I don't think it was necessarily like detrimental to your overall leg.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I
again,
make you feel better. Yeah.
No,
we're not.
5 minutes, I would have bing bonged around there too until I felt.
Haley was always like, I think we should switch. I'm like, no, bitch, you're staying. You try to make us switch. You try to make us leave the cooking challenge, and she was like, I think we need to go build the huts. And I was like,
oh my god.
Watermelons.
She wanted to switch and go to the watermelons. Stacking
The watermelons looked horrible.
Yeah, that looks awful.
He talked me out of switching.
I wanted to switch our flag twirling thing. I'm like, like this sucks. Like I hated that. I hated that so much. And Raquel was like, no, like we're gonna get it. I go, no, dude, I'm not gonna get it. I'm not. I'm hearing Dusty and I'm hearing everyone like woo as they're all leaving, and I'm like, Raquel, we gotta freaking switch.
Yeah, woo out of here. Yeah,
dude, it's people don't understand it unless they've done it. Like you literally cannot think like a normal human being in the race. Like you really can't.
Stuff we would do. I'm like, why did we do that?
No,
Yeah.
race brain is activated. The moment Phil says go, your brain changes up on you. Something chemically changes where you're like, my favorite moment where I laughed out loud was when y'all were doing an interview and you said, if we were like Boy Scouts, then maybe, but not today.
Yeah.
That should have been the episode title because it was just so
It was good. It was a line.
Yeah, it was about the knots. Well, I mean, I will say I'm I fish all the time. I know all my fishing knots, but they were just not applying right there and then. I don't know why. And I was like, this is some Boy Scout shit. I don't know.
Right in the comments, everybody loves the fact that y'all stopped and looked at the birds.
Yeah.
That
was
was
the part I've ever seen.
That's like one of those like BBC moments for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody's like they were stopping and smelling the flies. It's like
No.
little moments on the race where you actually can stop and be like, this is awesome. Like, I can't believe I'm here.
Give them a mirror.
Those are the parts that you leave home with because you're like, oh, that was a great time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that maybe shouldn't have been a time, but
Each other too.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Not to get more sentimental or sappy, but I mean, I think the Amazing Race is a very life-changing experience. And to do it with Will was one thing, but I can't imagine doing it with a sibling, let alone my twin. So I'm very curious to know, how did the race change your relationship? And did you guys learn anything new about each other that you didn't maybe know before?
You know, there's so many different aspects to it. And like, I've been saying a lot lately, like, you know, we learn that we can like do, you know, this together without fighting and butting heads, but also like a whole different aspect of the race is like putting ourselves just out there together and like coming together and like doing something that's like way out of our comfort zone to a degree. It's like something, you know, I never even thought I would ever be a part of. Like, you know, if you asked me like a year before we filmed, like I would have been like, you're crazy. I think just to be able to like overcome something that takes a lot of, I mean, for all of you guys know, it takes a lot of confidence to like step up and try something like that. I don't know. I just feel like we came out on top just with like a whole different perspective on life, if that makes sense at all. It was just,
I think like to add, like, I don't know. We always knew we had each other. We always knew that like we wanted to try something together. And I think this kind of secured that, like that thought or dream that we had that like we should do life or try to at least do life together and do what we love and whatever that is or wherever we find ourselves doing. I think we were kind of at the point in our lives where we knew we were close, but like, I mean, we didn't know what our whole life plan would be and if we want to do it, you know, be neighbors forever, kind of try to make this whole race. I think after this, we're like, dude, let's lock in for life, you know? Let's do it.
Aww.
Y'all have more of a twin telekinesis now? I know you said
now, we're doing it right now. We've been talking this whole time. No? We were talking so much shit earlier. I'm kidding.
Are you guys both together?
Because you do a renovation thing together?
Yeah,
that's what we.
You did that before the race, or is that something you decided to do after the race?
We started after. Well, we were dabbling in it before, but we actually decided to like do it after.
Love that.
We all had to connect.
I know.
Yeah, we had to connect.
I know, you guys.
Do you see my wall right here?
Help them!
I know a guy or two.
Dude.
All gonna fix them up together.
Yes.
No,
Really,
I think guys,
your outlets. She's done that.
Yeah.
no, we might have to hit like a Shark Tank all together after this. Or something.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for joining us and thank you for sharing your experience. And I know we've already said it, but you guys were really fun to watch. And, you know, who knows if there's a redemption season, a second chance season down the line, it would be great to see you both back. Because, you know, once you did it once, you can learn from those mistakes and come back even stronger. So it would be great to see y'all get another go at it.
We would love to give it another shot.
Seriously.
So fun
You
to
guare.
watch. I feel like
to
you've
watch.
brought such a positive light
we
to
loved
this
it.
season.
We're sad you're gone.
I know. I'm sad you're gone. Now I understand. People are like, I don't want to watch anymore. I'm not saying like that, but like,
you guys are
Oh, thank you guys. Like seriously, and even like to catch this invite with all of you guys came together and stuff like means the world. Like seriously, I'm so happy right now. heart's full.
I know the moment I saw Haley and Kaylynn commenting on that post on Instagram, I was like, we got to make this recap happen and bring everyone together because
I'm sad it was so soon. I'm sad it was so soon.
I know. Me too.
I know. When James was like, I got the twins, I was like, no, not this early.
I know.
No, immediately we were like, yeah.
I think the brothers got knocked out. You're not gonna be happy.
I know. I was like, do we think they're gone? And then we started working. Like, yeah. And I was like, damn it, 4 times they're out.
Yeah.
Well, next week
Takes one to know one.
Well, next week teams paraglide their way over the city of Medellin.
Medellin.
Have you seen Entourage?
Then they start this leg of the race on Wednesday, April 3rd at 9:30 p.m. on CBS, of course. They paraglide their way, and then they must do some decoding of a rebus puzzle, which I think will definitely serve Danny and Angie well. But I'm looking forward to next week's recap. It will be on a different day. I think Cayla and I are looking at doing it Sunday of next weekend. But in the meantime, Haley and Kaylynn, it was so great to see your faces. I miss the two of you. I love you both so much, and hopefully we can get together in person soon.
Please come stay
Romy
with us.
loves you.
Yes.
Let's all have a glass of wine in person soon.
I know.
Love you.
We didn't give Anthony and Bailey the memo, I guess.
I would have, yeah.
I would have brought a 24 rack for all you guys.
I literally thought about wearing like a Dubin shirt and having some like PBR and like making it a vibe.
I always see like in Dubin stuff. We love that.
Yeah, I went to one of my friends I like know him personally, and now it's like blown up and you see it on TV all the time. I'm like, holy crap.
I know, it's
Good
so
for
cool.
him.
It is cool.
So cool.
But
Can we all do
you guys need to like get a little deal going.
Yeah,
we're
cool.
And Anthony and Bailey, thank you for again joining us, and hopefully we'll meet in person. Hopefully our paths will cross, and yeah, we got to do a big amazing race someday.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys all at the finale in New York, right?
Yeah, you'll be
Okay,
there.
we were talking about that.
We were.
So fingers crossed.
I can let you guys in the door. I might know a guy or two that can get you over there.
I'm actually the only way I can actually go is if we work the door. So I think we'll be switching out shifts.
Us like knocking outside, like waving.
I'm like, hey, 2 at a time. All right.
Where's your backpack?
Twins.
Oh man.
Enjoy your evening, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
It was so cool
Thanks for
talking
having
to
us.
you.
That was
So
awesome.
fun.
Bye, y'all.